All right. So welcome everyone. Um, Thank you again for joining our Stress Less series. This is our creative brain break, an opportunity for us to take some time to tap into our creative side, do something a little bit different, step out of our comfort zone. So really excited about this. And we're going to dive in because I really love this topic. Uh, Here we go. So creative writing. A few things about creative writing. Creative writing can encompass journaling, poetry, short stories, prose, actually don't know what that is, songwriting, and any other type of writing that allows you to use your imagination. So I think sometimes we gravitate towards a style of writing if we even take any time at all to write. We gravitate towards a certain style and don't allow ourselves to really step out of our comfort zone. So hopefully today we'll do a few different writing activities that maybe will have you try some different things. Is anyone in here a writer, into journaling or into writing at all? Yes, we have the best intentions to want to do it, but then time, right, or something happens and we just don't do it. Maybe we have the journal there and by our bedside and fall asleep without, taking the time to write in it. Oh, Samantha, what type of writing do you typically do, Samantha?
I like to journal and I very rarely will try poetry.
Okay, love that. Poetry can be really fun.
hmm
That's awesome.
I wrote one for Earth Day. That was my
You
latest.
did.
hmm
I'm gonna like ask you to. I want to see it, but I know writing can also be private, so don't feel like you have to send it. But I love poetry, and Earth Day this year for some reason was just even more special to me. And yeah, that's awesome. I was feeling inspired this year on Earth Day, I'll say. Um, So great. I'd love to hear that you are some of you are doing writing or want to write more. I will share that I used to write very frequently when I was younger. I have maybe 10 journals full of things I wrote when I was younger, and they're funny to read back. And similarly, I have good intentions I'll tend to start a journal and then fall out of the habit. I actually also was very into writing stories when I was a kid. As kids, we have these wild imaginations, and for me, that was my outlet to really get stuff down on paper. And I have these stories, and I even tried to get them published, and I don't know whatever happened with them. I'm sure they weren't so good enough to be published. But it's interesting to think back to when we were younger, or when we had that time to take the time to write. I don't remember when I was writing ever feeling like I really should be doing something else, and I feel like now when I do, it's that feeling, right? There's so many other things as adults that we need to be focusing on. So reminding ourselves to take the time to write, even if we're not don't consider ourselves writers. There's a writer inside of all of us. Even if you don't think you write well, that doesn't matter. You have something to say, you have a story to tell, you have an imagination, a mind. There, I read, if you can talk, you can write. So yes, we may need to brush up on our grammar. I think social media and the way that we type and has autocorrect, we tend to lose some of our grammar skills than when we're actually writing on paper. But the more you practice, the better you get, and it kind of comes back to you again. So let's not make writing a lost art, and hopefully today re-inspires you to start writing again. A few quick benefits to creative writing. I do want to jump into our exercises, but it can provide a constructive escape. So whether you're kind of journaling and getting all your thoughts down on paper, or especially if you're writing, a story or something not related to yourself, just getting in that mindset of being creative can help us to not necessarily escape our lives. They sometimes you think of escape as not being a good thing, but it's definitely good to have an outlet to be able to escape and spend some time doing something different, something fun, and then be able to come back and do all those things we have to do with a better mood, less anxiety. Number two, writing helps you to release feelings and emotions. So this one is really big. Samantha, for your journaling, I'm sure you experience this, just being able to get those thoughts out of your head onto the paper, right? Can be a form of therapy, a form of self-care. And there's different types of journaling. So, some are just that day-to-day type of diary type of journaling. Some people like to do gratitude journaling. And there's some other types as well. And then number three, it allows you to self-reflect. So similar to journaling and getting it out of your head and onto paper, sometimes when we're able to do that and we can read back, it gives us that time, even while we're writing, to take the time to self-reflect that we might not have given ourselves before. So this series is all about stress. So obviously these three are very beneficial to helping to manage stress, and writing can just be fun, be a fun outlet. So I want to have you all get your writing utensil out, pen or pencil, and just keep in mind the purpose here is to allow your creative mind just complete freedom, just kind of cut loose. You're not going to have to read these to the group today unless you want to share something. You can certainly keep these to yourself. So really just use this time over the next 10 minutes with some of the exercises we do to just have some fun. Don't judge yourself. Get things down on paper, and we'll give it a try. You ready? Okay, so the first one is to really just get those creative, I won't say creative, so just juices flowing. Get your mind working. Our mind is working all the time. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts going on at one given time per day. So more often than not, thoughts and emotions flow illogically in our mind. So they're not always this consistent stream. One thought flows into another, and it just I know for me at least, you're thinking of one thing, and then something pops up, and you have this random thought, and then it's kind of chaotic up there. So a really great method to kind of calm all of those things is this technique called a stream of consciousness writing, or I like to refer to it as a brain dump, where you're really just getting everything up here onto paper. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to follow a logical order. So that's really what the goal is. So for the next, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes or so to get your, again, writing utensil, piece of paper, and I'll put on a little music so we have some background going on, but just want to give you some time to get it all out, whatever is going on, whatever clutter you have going on up there, to get it all out. And so that's going to be our first writing prompt. So 2 minutes, and you can go ahead and get started. keep on writing. I just want to mention that the goal here as well is to not stop and think too much. It's really just to try to keep the pen to paper and keep writing, keep scrolling, just kind of like the scroll of your brain. So just a quick tip for you. You have another minute. All right, go ahead and finish up whatever it is you're writing. And that is our brain dump. Does anyone want to share kind of how that went for you? How that made you feel? Have you done that before? Jacqueline says my brain is a hot mess. Heck yeah, I am feeling it. I don't know if it's just the end of the week, if it's been a long week, but kind of noticing the tone of what you were writing was really what I was writing was really interesting because it started out with kind of some, I'm going to admit it, complaints of like, oh, it's been such a long week. I'm really tired, but and it went into, but then it started getting into some things I want to do, like how I want to write more. And so, yeah, roller coaster. That's exactly what it was. And it's so interesting when you just sit there with your thoughts, how that's kind of what happens. Um, do you want to share, Alicia?
Sure, why not?
Go for it.
I'll be the guinea pig. So my thoughts just went rambling. I just said, oh my God, Monday again, it's gonna suck. I want to clean for Sunday. I have to drive to dance on Saturday, pack snacks. How am I gonna pay for physical therapy? The cat was so cute chasing the birds. I wish more birds would come to build, and I need to build the light strings. I don't have enough time to build them in my yard. I hope I can grow veggies in the summer. Will my banana tree survive? And it's too hot. Complete random roller coaster, but it
Love
was
it.
so good to get out.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Because I think that was so relatable to us, at least for me. Yes. And yes, it's like this to-do list and then the little bit of complaints there, but then some positive things pop up in there. And but I agree with you also with that last point you made was that just felt good to get out though. It's because it's just sometimes it just buzzes around up there. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I love it. All right, that was great. Let's go on to the next because I really like this one. Because this one's a little bit different. So this one is going to help us get out of that thinking brain that which we just kind of dumped anyway, and get us into this more creative writing space. And I wanted to make it as easy as possible. So really what this is you're describing your surroundings, but describing it in the third person. So as if you are the author of this story that you're sitting in. So whatever room, and you're writing about it. So you want to use descriptive language. So instead of saying the light is shining through the window, you might say the morning sun is, well, it's not morning. The afternoon sun is streaming through the window, spotlighting a million dancing dust particles. It sounds weird when I read it out loud, but you get the point. When we read a story, we really love for it to be descriptive. So that's what I'm going to challenge you with, and I'll give you um, another 2 minutes to do this exercise. So write your story about your surroundings, what's going on in the room you're in, what you're experiencing, but from the third person. Sound good? Okay, go ahead and get started. All right, finish up your last sentence or two. This one was interesting. I'm like, man, I was a way better writer when I was young. It just came, I think, just more naturally than it does now. But that was also, I got better. I don't know if anyone kind of felt like it got better as you went on and it started to kind of flow a little easier. Any thoughts on how that went or what, how you felt doing that? Or anyone want to read their story? Another brave soul. That's a little harder, a little easier than the last exercise.
I'll give it a share.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm in the office, so I tried to make it sound good.
Don't want to bash the office, right?
Yeah. The loud hum of the AC is interspersed with jovial banter and laughter of my colleagues and supervisors. It bounces into my right ear while I hear subtle classical melodies in my left ear headphone pressed snugly to my head. This cold hard desk is expansive and spacious. Its utilities unwelcoming, lest I have paper to lay across. And that's all I have.
I love that. That was pretty good, though. I think that was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I like
that
this
was
exercise.
really good. You like this one?
Hmm.
Is it different than your normal style of writing that you would do like in your journals?
Oh, yeah. My journal writing is more of the brain dumps. So
Yeah.
this was nice.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Yeah, hard. It depends on where you're sitting, what you have to work with this prompt. Mine, my bike is sitting right here, so I wrote um, a bike was leaning aimlessly against the wall, thrown about as if a worthless, unused object, collecting dust and soot and the occasional laundry hanger. I should bike more often, she thought, before focusing back in on her work and to-do list. That was my little short snippet. But I thought that was fun too. I haven't done that style in a long time either. And so these prompts can be a really neat way to get you kind of into that creative writing brain, and start to just try it out. I have a couple more, and I know this is a short session, but I wanted to share them with you because I think that, and thank you. I used to, yeah, I need to get back into writing. I really enjoyed it. I don't consider myself a good writer, but I do believe the more you do it, just the more naturally it comes, and you start to use words in different ways, and it can be really, really fun and rewarding. So a couple others. So this is a different writing prompt, and I'm going to send you guys this deck so you can have these, and I encourage you to go through and do as many of these as you want. There's a few more. So this is just a writing prompt where you have a scenario. I had to pick the one on the beach because I love the beach. And this is just a prompt that you would finish writing, and you can give yourself a time limit. I encourage you to kind of just keep it open time as well, so you can really kind of open up and let the thoughts flow. And then another one I found was writing a letter to your younger self. I thought this one was really interesting, kind of different, and a good perspective and on a different kind of way to journal and yeah, kind of talk about what you've learned, offering yourself advice, compassion, maybe some things, that your old self was going to go through, kind of coaching yourself through that and why things have worked out. And it helps us to kind of build some gratitude too, and from where we have been to where we are now. So I love this one. And again, you can make it your own. This one was really fun. I kind of wanted to do this one with this group, but again, we only had time to do so many. So this one is to go into Wikipedia, and on the right-hand side, there's a menu, and I had no idea, but you could actually click and it says random article. And so you can click on a random article, and then you would use that article to somewhere in your writing. So you'd use that as a prompt, and you'd have to relate your story or narrative to that article. So I thought that was really neat. I definitely want to try that one. And then I have just, and as far as journaling goes, and this is all kind of focused around stress management. So these are 10 journaling prompts for stress relief. So prompts are really helpful sometimes when we're all over the place and we don't really know. We want to write, we want to get some things out, but we don't really know where to start. So I like to, when I was journaling, sometimes use some prompts. And have a few quotes here to end with. And I do want to ask you if you have anything else to add, any other writing exercises or styles that work, that you've tried that you really enjoy. All right. Yeah, I know there's poetry. That can be a good one to get into as well. And again, just give yourself permission to try new things, be creative, get outside of your comfort zone as much as you can. I really love this quote by Maya Angelou. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. I love that. And it's so true. When we start to tap into our creative side, we want to do it more, and we have more, it kind of sparks more and more ideas. And then this quote here also, the next quote says, creativity involves breaking out of expected patterns in order to look at things in a different way. So even related to our work and our day-to-day life, being able to practice being creative can also then help us to be more creative when we're faced with challenges and problems in our regular lives as well. So again, practicing thinking outside the box and using that creative side of the brain also helps us in other ways that we may not always think of. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much again for taking the time to try something new and to write with me today. And thank you for sharing. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great weekend as well.